Hi, good morning. Welcome to cutting class. Hope you guys had a great day. We are going to go over some fun information today. So first of all, on your guys' tables, I want you to look for the puzzles that are on your table, all right? So you're going to see a little puzzle. I want you to take 5 minutes. I'm gonna play some music. You guys are gonna put this puzzle together, all right? Perfect. So as you guys went through and saw your puzzle pieces, what do you see? Here I have extraordinary shampoo, 2-minute plan, 10 opportunities, 4-step program, cutting system, style and finish, and last of all, some product knowledge, all right? So as you put that whole puzzle together, what have we created? We have created the most amazing, extraordinary service for our guests that come in. So today we have a lot of information we're going to be going over, and through my own experience in doing hair and working out in the clinic classroom, it's all of these things that make our school so amazing. They're what make our salon so amazing, and it's what's going to really boost you up as a stylist and make you the best in the industry. So through today's class and through participation and just paying attention, you're going to give yourself all the tools you need to be very successful and actually connect with your guest and really enjoy yourself as you're doing hair. So first of all, we're going to go through a few things. We first have our consultation we're going to be talking about. Then we'll move on to our shampoo and condition. We will be executing a triangular graduation today, and then end with our style and finish. So first of all, let's talk about the 10 opportunities. All right, these are some fun opportunities that we have to really make that consultation, service and completion all, we basically make that whole service come full circle, all right? So one of the first things we're gonna do is, who can tell me what the first step to the 10 opportunities is? Right, create magic. When's a good opportunity that we can make that first great impression and create some magic with our guest? Right, when they walk right in the door, right? We're gonna greet them with a smile. We can shake their hand. Hi, my name is Crystal. I'm gonna be doing your hair today. Walk back with me. Let's go to my station, get you ready. Next, we're going to identify challenges. We wanna talk to our guests, ask them what challenges they have with their hair. If it's extra frizzy, if it's extra dry and brittle, maybe they have some different hair patterns or whorls that are giving them some challenges, and we're going to talk through them, maybe recommend some solutions, which leads us right to the next opportunity. So we're going to recommend a haircut that might help their challenges, color, different products. And next we have our number 4, our wash house experience. This is a great opportunity to give the guest that relaxing experience that everybody basically comes in to get. One of the number one things when I talk to a guest, what's your favorite part of the service? It's typically the wash house experience. So that's a great opportunity to create some magic and connect with your guest. Number 5 is to educate your guest. Make sure they know why you're using what products you're using, why you're using the tools you're using, and educating them on what works best with their hair type, letting them know what formation their hair is. Some people don't know, they think they just have thin hair, but maybe their hair is actually really fine and thick, but they think it's thin just because each individual hair strand's thin. So just educating them on that. Number 6 is to always talk professionally. When we are out in the clinic classroom, it's really important that we keep our conversations professional, we keep our language professional, and we keep our actions professional. We always also want to just dress professional so that we don't look sloppy. We want to always keep our hair and makeup done, so we basically are that walking billboard of how awesome we can make our guests look, depending on how well we look. Next is number 7. This is the color bar experience. So we can create a lot of magic in, the color bar setting, talking to our guests about future colors they might want to do on their hair and different products that we have that are maybe, we have our demi-permanent that isn't that full commitment versus our Color XG, which is that full commitment, letting them know about the different colors we offer. Number 8 is our style experience. We want to give them the best experience, make sure they leave feeling glamorous and amazing. Also, we want to educate them on how to recreate that style once they're at home. Also, letting them know what products to use to be able to recreate that style again. And even educating them on how to blow dry their hair or how to smooth it. Teaching them how to possibly use that curling iron. Next, we want to review and recommend. We always want to sort of do a little recap on what we discussed, what we had recommended for their different hair types. And last of all, we would finish off with that fun 2-minute plan, all right, which we'll go into a little bit later. Next, we have our consultation that we're going to just do a little recap on the importance of the different parts of our consultation. While you're in the school, there's 2 parts of the consultation. We have our pre-consultation. That's where you as a future professional, you're going to be talking to your guest one-on-one, trying to figure out what they want and, going through some of those 10 opportunities, like identifying challenges and really figuring out what specific haircut they want, have them grab their phone out, look at pictures. You're getting as much information as you can, and you're writing it down on that guest service folio so that the next part, when you come to your learning leader and you talk to us about what you're going to be doing for your service, then we can go back both like prepared, ready to go. So part of what that is when after you've collected all your information from your service guest, then you're going to come to your learning leader who can tell me what that is. Right? That's the mini powwow. So this is going to lead us into just a little bit of information that's actually the responsibility of your learning leaders. So we have our 4-step program. And I want to let you guys know about this so you're fully aware of what your learning leader's job is on the clinic classroom, because you guys can hold us accountable for what the job we need to do, First, we have our mini powwow. This is the first time we check in with you and we say, hey, what's the service you're going to be doing? We always want to do the mini powwow away from the service guests so that we can really jump in and talk about any fears you might have, any questions you might have, and doing this right behind the guest could put some doubt in your service guest's mind. So we always want to do it away so that we can just get a really good game plan, go over any notes we want to in the skill cards. If we have to watch a video on our iPad, whatever it is we have to do, we can do it away from the guest, even if we have to dry some tears. You never know. When you're first starting out, you can get pretty nervous. So that mini powwow is really important all through school to really get a good game plan. As I come back with you to your service guest, we are going to, you'll introduce me to them. So, hi, this is Crystal, my learning leader. Hi, Crystal, this is Sam. We're going to be doing Sam's hair today. This is where you as a future professional, you can basically go through and recap what the plan is, and then I just help confirm that, make sure the guest, is on track with what you've said, and it's just sort of like all inclusive. We know what is going to be happening. I go ahead and sign your ticket. This is another really important step because your ticket does need to be signed by a learning leader so that you can work under my license, basically. And then I'm going to let you go ahead and get started with that game plan that we created. If you've only been on the clinic classroom for a week, we might have little steps, and I'm going to come back and check on you in between each of those steps. But let's say you've been out there for 8 months. I might not check on you as frequently, but it's still important. I'm going to be doing some service checks. Last of all is the service completion. This is where I've come back, made sure the service went well, make sure the guest is happy, make sure that you're, happy and confident that everything got completed the way we wanted it to. And this is where I sign the ticket, this is where I make sure you've filled out your take-home form, your guest service folio is complete, and everything's just completed. And this is where you actually get to be led into the 2-minute plan. But before we start with the 2-minute plan, I'm going to have us do a little bit of an activity. I want you guys to utilize the posters on the walls and the markers that are underneath them, and you guys are going to create a learning center on what this 4-minute plan is, all right? So I'm going to put on a little bit of music. You guys are going to have about 5 minutes to create a learning center for the 4-step program, all right? Perfect. Thanks for your participation in that. Next, we're going to move on to that 2-minute plan. So after we've done our service completion, this is where you've been led to do the 2-minute plan, all right? So first of all, we have to wait to clean our station, right? We don't want to keep our guests waiting. We're just going to wait to clean our station, escort our guests up to the front. We want to walk side by side with them. I have had a future professional just let their guests go, and they didn't stop at the desk. They actually walked right out the door. So that's another huge reason we actually want to escort them up to the front desk and stay with them until they leave, because some service guests might just wander out the door. You never know. So escort them to the desk, the reservation area, and then you're going to introduce them to our reservation team. And next you're going to go ahead and, who can tell me the 4th step? Right, pull product. You want to pull that product from the shelf and talk about, any recommendations and solutions that you had for their hair with that product. Get a little price check on it, set it on the counter up there. And next, who can tell me number 5? Yeah, you want to rebook your guest, right? You want to make sure they're going to be coming back, and you can let them know, hey, your haircut, it's only going to last about four weeks. Let's get you back in 4 weeks so we can keep that haircut nice and fresh for you. Same with color. Maybe they want to come back in 6 to 8 weeks. And this is something that I talk to them through the service. While I'm applying the color, I'll let them know, hey, we're going to want to have you come back in about 6 weeks to get your regrowth done. So I don't always wait to the very end to start planning that. I've already pre-talked to them about that. All right, so we've reserved our future date. Next, we are going to give them a business card plus 5 more. And with those 5 more, we're going to ask for a referral so that they can have their friends come in. And I even mentioned, I'm like, hey, I'd love to do your family and friends' hair. You should have them come in. Here's my business cards with my name on them. Will you pass them out to your friends? Thanks. Next, you're just going to go ahead, walk them to the door, say thank you, and then you're going to go back and clean up your station. All right, so that concludes the 2-minute plan, okay? Next, let's move on to what I like to just throw in as you guys are going through school. I would say one of the most fun, important things to do is to create a lookbook. This is where you just get to go online, look up fun images, and create that lookbook. Because during the consultation, I think a lookbook's really important. In my lookbook, I include product so that our guests know and they get familiar with which product works best with different hair types. So I'll always include a little bit of product. Here I have the Forever Blonde Dramatic Repair. This product is going to have the safflower oleosomes that are time release. Every time they brush their hair, it releases those capsules that are going to add moisture along with the macadamia nut oil that also replenishes the oil. So as they're looking through your lookbook, they can see these different products that are going to help with their hair. All right, so I would have to say pictures during a consultation are worth 1,000 words. Like that quote, a picture's worth 1,000 words. That's where I 100% agree, because somebody might come in and refer to a haircut as an A-line, which is our triangular graduation, and they might say, yeah, I want an A-line. And you might think, oh great, I love those cuts, I'm gonna cut my favorite A-line. And your A-line might be really dramatic versus like the really subtle A-line that they were actually asking for. So that's where, you know, if we would have started the service out with a picture, it avoids a lot of complications at the end of the service. All right, perfect. So next we're gonna move into our shampoo. This is where a lot of the magic happens. So I'm just going to pull out Gabriella right here. She's gonna be our beautiful model today. So let's just do a little recap on our shampoo. So one of the first things is we always want to make sure our guest is draped properly. All right, so if we're doing a color, how are they going to be draped? Right, double draped. If they're just getting a wash shampoo, they're just going to be draped like what? A single drape, right. So I have a nice towel behind her neck, comfortable. She's draped properly. We keep that drape over the back of the chair so all that water, any water that could possibly get out, doesn't drain right down into the chair, all right? So, couple things. I want to turn on that water and test it on my wrist, make sure it's comfortable at a nice temperature. And then throughout the shampoo, I'm going to keep my fingers wrapped around the nozzle so that I can make sure if there's any fluctuation in the water temperature, it doesn't like get too hot or too cold, and I can monitor that easily with my fingertips. So first of all, I'm going to go around that front hairline in that U shape right around their head, using my finger on my right side of my finger as a dam right above the ear on the right side. And then as I come to the right side of her head, I'm going to go ahead and use my pinky to create a nice barrier so that as I am getting the hair wet, it's not getting in her ears. Then I can cup that nozzle and go right behind that occipital and get down in the nape really well. All right, once I have her hair fully wet, I can turn the water off. I'm going to put in the appropriate amount of shampoo, and I can let them know at this time like how much shampoo would be appropriate for their hair length. With this, you know, medium to short length, I might only do 1 to 2 pumps. I'm going to first start by just lathering that shampoo in my hands and then just working it into the hair and getting it evenly dispersed all throughout the hair. And then I'm gonna just start working that shampoo into a nice lather. First of all, I'm going to, once I have the shampoo nicely evenly distributed, I'm going to start in the hairline. And I am going to use just the pads of my fingers here to start doing little circular motions right along the hairline. And then I'm gonna bring it back up. And I'm going to keep repeating that motion backwards until I have made my way to the apex. And I'm basically gonna just keep going down and up, down, up, down, up, and repeat that 3 times until I reach the apex. Then once I've reached that point, I'm going to start working further back and repeat this part 3 times, where I'm going down to the ears and back up all the way to the crown, and then to the apex, and then the crown, and then the occipital. So I'm being very methodical about my movements, and I want to create a very relaxing sensation. So once I get down to the back of the occipital, that's when I can hold my guest's head in my left hand and then work down that mastoid process and really massage the hairline there all the way back into the nape. And then I can repeat that 3 times and keep working with those movements until I've covered that scalp area there. And then on this left side, I'm going to rotate her head into my right hand, and then with my left hand, I'm going to go ahead and really work behind the mastoid process down into the nape and repeat that 3 times. Once I'm done, I want to have covered the surface of her whole scalp, making sure that I gave her a nice massage. And then I'm going to check that water temperature, rinse that shampoo out really nicely. Again, just creating those water dams with my hand, a barrier from her ear with my pinky, or my pointed finger here, my pinky here, really getting all that shampoo out. And then with that conditioner that I'm going to apply next, I'm going to, turn off the water again, really get it dispersed evenly on my hands, apply it very evenly throughout the hair. And then I'm going to, you have a couple options here. You can do a little bit more of that massaging that we talked about, those same steps, or you could actually let that conditioner sit on their hair for like 3 to 5 minutes and give them a hand massage. So after you've rinsed everything, so after the conditioner is sat, you're gonna go ahead, rinse all that conditioner out, and then next we are gonna need a towel. So you're gonna take that towel, and will you give me a towel? You're going to take that towel and you wanna wrap it like a turban. So we would never wanna just have our guests sit up with that wet hair and drip all the way back to our station. So we're gonna take a towel and we want to create a turban. So I'm going to have them barely prop their head up, and I'll come right up here so you can see here. So I'm going to take that towel right behind their nape, bring it around the front of the head, and bring it over to the other side and just tuck it in a little there. And then I'm going to make sure their hair all gets in that towel, and I'm going to twist that back right corner over, bring it around to where their left eyebrow is and tuck it in. And then I am going to bring that back left corner, twist it around, tuck it into the right side where their right eyebrow is. Now they have a nice little turban. And at this point, I actually like to assist them up in the chair so that, they have that confident, comfortable hand like behind them. Lift them up. Tell them to walk with you back to the station, and you guys are ready to move on to the next phase. So, speaking of that next phase, we are going to do a little recap on our hair cutting information. So who can tell me what the 3 principles of dimension are? Height, width, and depth. Good job, Chris. You got it. You get a piece of candy. All right. So height. What does height give us? Let's see. Height. So height is the vertical distribution of weight. It is that up and down lift and movement in a haircut. This is height. Up and down. Vertical distribution of weight. So what this does is it gives us our 3 different techniques. Who can tell me what the 3 different techniques are? Yeah, we have our 1 length, graduation, and layers. So here, And you guys can open up your books with me. You'll see these same diagrams in your books on page 67. So next, with our second principle of dimension, we have our width. So width is the horizontal distribution of weight. So this is just that movement, just side to side. We refer to this as over direction. And this actually gives us 3 different geometries. Who can tell me the 3 different geometries this produces? Square. Then we have our round. And last, our triangle. All right, so I have 3 haircuts up here, and I want you guys to identify which one's which. Which ones are triangle? Clap when it's the triangle. Here, here. Good, yes. Next we have our round. This one, this one, this one. All right, good job. You guys are right on it. And last but not least, our square. Here, here. Yes, this is our square. And this is that haircut's just evenly balanced. Our triangular is short in the back, longer in the front. And our round has that shorter length in the front and rounds to more length in the back. All right, so our last principle of dimension is our depth. Depth is also known as the length. So for our different lengths, we have, you know, short, medium, and long. Medium is right at the shoulders. Anything above that is shorter. Anything longer than that is our long. So there's a few factors that affect the haircut and style and that length. So first of all, our guest desire, their texture, quality and condition of the hair, their lifestyle. What do they do for a living? One of my favorite analogies is, which runway do they work on? Are they working on them as a model on a runway, or are they working at the airport throwing bags on a runway? They might need their hair in a ponytail for that, right? But on a runway where they're maybe a fashion model, they might want their hair, you know, long and voluptuous. So facial structure and features also can determine, you know, their length and what length might look good for them. And last of all, their formation. All right, moving on, we're gonna just do a little recap on our section angle accuracy and the importance of it. Today, since we're doing the triangular graduation, it's gonna be very important to stay right on point with our section angle accuracy. So this is just that system that helps us create efficient and accurate end results. So we have vertical, horizontal, and diagonal. And one really fun analogy I found for this one, I was actually inspired as I was looking at this flag here. We have horizontal, vertical, diagonal forward, and diagonal back right here on this flag. Pretty cool, huh? So today, one of the things I really want you to pay attention to is the section angle accuracy, all right? So we're actually going to go ahead and get into our haircut. Who can tell me what the first phase of a haircut is? Create the basic shape. Yes, what's the next phase? To cross-check. How often do we want to cross-check? Right, every 2 to 3 sections. We wouldn't want to wait till the whole haircut's done and see, you know, that we accidentally cut this side an inch longer than this side, you know. Next, we are going to blow dry. Fourth, we're going to refine. And last of all, just finish, style and finish. So I want you guys to go ahead and for sure open your books up to page 68. You're going to see the triangular graduation on that page. So pages 68 to 74, whether you're using the iPad app or opening up your book, go ahead and get opened up to that. So the triangular graduation is very intricate and detailed, and that's what makes it so fun, because I love the precision in this haircut. So let's see, here I have our diagrams. So within your skill cards, the triangular graduation here, one of the most important parts, let's see if we can focus here, is the occipital down to the nape. Right in here, this is where the entire haircut pivots, and if you can really get a great understanding of how this pivots, triangular graduation can become your favorite haircut too, because I feel like just as you understand how that little Christmas tree works up that head shape, it's going to give you a really good understanding of like the perfect finger angle and section angle to use, and just give you confidence in your haircut. So make sure you have your skill cards out, because I want you guys to all be really watching the section angles as we move up the haircut, okay? Today I'm going to be using just the fine teeth in my comb, just for maximum control. Remember, your combs do have different teeth spacings for different types of control, also for different textures and formations. Today I'm just using our fine teeth to get maximum control. Alright, I have put a little bit of super skinny in the hair so that I don't have as many flyaways and frizzies. I love to really keep the hair saturated really nice for the triangular graduation, because the more it's saturated, the less I have to clip it and the more control I have. So, first part of the triangular graduation is I'm going to be creating a guide. And with this guide, I'm just going to start towards the low occipital here and do a vertical diagonal forward section right there. And I'm just going to comb that over. It's nice and wet, so it'll stay out of the way. I'm going to create the exact same section on the other side. This is so that I can create balance. So here I have my very first little triangle. The second picture I have up here is your 45-degree angle. This is another important diagram. They're all important, but these two, the one that shows the back with the sections moving up like a little Christmas tree, and then the back, the side profile that is showing you right here, that 45-degree angle that you want to hold your finger angle at. So whenever I start to cut my triangular graduation, I make sure her head is nice and vertical and balanced. I have my knuckles to her neck, knuckles to neck, that's what I tell myself, so that I know I have the right hand position. And then where's my body position gonna be? It's, yeah, behind. So I'm putting my body right behind. If I need to during the haircut, I can step out to the left and then bring my weight back. If I need to work up the right side, I can step out to the right, but then I want to shift my weight back, because my body position is always going to want to stay triangular. So here we go. We're going to create our first guide. What's my hand position for this? Palm to palm, correct. So I am coming in 45-degree angle, cutting palm to palm, meaning my hands are facing each other. I have my 45-degree angle here, I'm going to take that just a little bit shorter. All right, 45-degree angle right here. I want to make sure if I need to bend down, I like to bend my knees. I'm not going to bend my back and arch my body weird. I want to use my legs to do the bending, not my back. Next, I'm going to separate that, put half of it on the right so it's out of the way. Keep the other half as my guide right here. So now I'm going to go up 1 finger width and out 2 finger widths. And this is gonna help me pivot up the head, okay? So up 1 finger width here, out 2 over here. And I'm gonna have that just like that. I am gonna clip this just so that stays out of the way. I am going to comb up to find my guide and down to get the correct elevation. And I want to make sure my comb is following that section angle. That's how I'm really going to make sure I am staying consistent with my section angles. And then my finger angle is going to mirror my comb. And then I see my guide under there. Let's see here. Palm to palm. Make sure I'm at my 45-degree angle here. Don't cut past your second knuckle. Recomb. Cut. All right. So I'm going to go ahead, do the other side. As I'm going, I'm just making sure everything's balanced. All right, so I have my section angle, making sure my comb is mirroring that section angle. I can see my guide here. I have my weight in the back. Now on the right side, my finger's pointing down and my scissors are pointing up, but I'm still cutting palm to palm. Recomb. Don't cut past my second knuckle, and cut. Make sure my finger angle mimics my section line. There we go. At this point, I've cut 2 sections on the left, 2 on the right. I can go ahead and cross-check. What section angle do we want to take to cross-check? Correct, horizontal. We can always tell the shape by just taking a horizontal section and pulling it out. And we do need to have it at the same elevation that we cut the hair. If I just grab this and hold it up here, it's going to diffuse my guide and it won't be very accurate. I do see that my right side is just a little bit longer, which is very typical for me. On the right side, I tend to leave some length, so I'm just gonna clean that up. Do one last cross check. Looks good. Gonna keep moving on. So, how am I gonna pivot up the head? 1 finger length up, 2 out to the side here, all right? And as I move up the head, I'm going to just sort of see that little like Christmas tree where it was more vertical diagonal forward, still slightly vertical diagonal forward, and then it becomes just diagonal forward. And as I keep going, it's going to start to become more so that it's horizontal diagonal forward. So we're sort of working that way. Right now, I would say this is pretty much a true just diagonal forward. All right, so now I'm gonna make sure my comb is right up there at the top. Grab a little bit of my guide underneath. So again, I comb up to just connect it with my guide, and then down to find the right elevation. I check to make sure I can see my guide right under there. I can see it nice and clear. Palm to palm, cut. Again, comb it down. See my guide. Make sure my section angle and my finger angle are in line. Cut and cut. So now with this, I'm going to just keep going up that left side. Up 1 finger length, out how many? 2, correct. So as you work up the back of the head here, you're going to just keep working up. You shouldn't get, by the time we get to the top of the occipital, we will want to be like right around the top of the ear. So one of the discoveries that's often made is people will be all the way up to the crown before they're even to the top of the ear, and that takes you up the head just a little too fast. So here on this section, I'm gonna marry it with my guide underneath, comb up to find my guide, comb down to get that proper elevation. Make sure my finger angle and my section angle are nice. And here we go. All right. Again, we're almost to that top section where we're going to meet at the top of the ear. Oops. I'm gonna combine my guide underneath, comb up to find my guide, and then just comb down to get that right elevation. I see my guide right under there, palm to palm. Cut to my second knuckle. I line my comb up with the part. Bring it out. Make sure my finger mimics that same section angle. And see this over direction that's happening here? What shape is it creating? A triangle. A triangle. All right. So do you guys see our graduation? That nice little buildup of weight there? It's looking pretty. I like it. Yeah. All right. So next, this next section is going to come right through to the top of the ear right here. So one really easy way to part the hair, I feel like this needs to be taller, I'll just shrink. All right, is to comb it in the direction that you want to part it. So I have my pointer finger down here and my pointer finger right here, and I'm just gonna connect my fingers together, pinch and pull, and you'll look like a pro every time. All right, so let's see. If there is just a little bit you want to grab, you can just use the tip of your comb. All right, so what do I need to do? 2 things. I need to re-wet my doll head because it's getting a little dry. And then I do need to do a cross check. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this section, and then we'll cross check that. See how we're doing. So I'm gonna grab my guide here, comb down for elevation. Gonna split it right about there. There's my guide. I'm gonna cut palm to palm. My second knuckle, recomb, recomb, we go. Right, so let's cross check. So if I do a vertical section, what's it gonna show me? It's gonna show me my elevation. It'll show me that 45-degree angle that I'm cutting the hair at. If I do a horizontal section, what am I gonna see? The geometry that I'm cutting, yep. So here, I'm going to see that it's shorter right here in the back and that it's getting longer for that triangular shape. All right, so now this is where I feel like it just gets really simplified, because if you look at your skill cards, you'll see now this is the part that is just really consistent right here, in this one right here. So right above the ear, all these section angles are identical to each other, and now we can just move up the hair one comb width at a time. Make sure it's nice and saturated. All right, so here we go. This is where our parting skills are important. So again, I'm going to comb the hair in the direction that I'm going to be parting it. I'm taking my pointer finger here and meeting with the pointer finger in the front. And this is where our section angle becomes a little bit more horizontal diagonal forward. All right. So back here it was vertical diagonal forward. Here it was diagonal forward, and now it's just more of that horizontal diagonal forward section. All right, so now I'm basically just following the guide that I've created within the perimeter. And I'm still gonna grab a little bit of that guide underneath, comb down for my elevation, and I'm just following my guide. So now at this point, I'm actually holding it out at 45 degrees to make it meet this. See that? Instead of my finger angle holding 45 degrees, now I'm actually just holding and elevating the hair out to 45 degrees. And then as I come around the head here, I'm gonna slightly start to decrease my elevation just a little bit. And you'll see on the skill card to where once you're out in the front here, you actually slightly lower it. And what this does is it strengthens your perimeter just a little bit more. Gives you a little bit more of like a strong perimeter. If we were to bring it up here and cut it clear out here, it would really diffuse the perimeter and make it a little bit more piecey at the bottom. So eventually that could be an adaptation for a more shattered haircut, but today we're just staying really standard, creating a nice perimeter. I followed that section angle from the back all the way to the front, and it's what gave me that nice triangular shape. So at this point, my section angle mirrored my cut angle. And there we go. So now I'm just gonna take it up one comb's width, start from that back, swing it right into the front, pinch and pull the hair apart, comb that down, and just gonna wet this top front part just a little bit. All right, so you guys tell me what to do now. Yep, I just grabbed a little bit of my guide, and then I combed down onto my guide to find my proper elevation, and so that I could see that guide beneath. Cut. Bring it down. I can completely see my guide underneath here. Make sure my elevation is good. So at this point, where I stand is important. I want to keep my body positioned behind the guest. If I start to swing my body out to the side, and if I start to cut over here, what am I going to do? I'm going to start to lose that corner point. So if I keep my body position behind in that triangular shape and body position, it will help me preserve that length in the front, because I am over directing towards myself. Naturally, your hands are going to pull towards your body. So where your body is standing around your guest is important. All right, so got a couple more sections here. I'm just following right up that head, combs width. And after this section would be a good time to do what? Cross check. Yep. So here I'm just over directing that hair back into that shape of the triangle. Here we go. And so let's go ahead and cross check. If I take a vertical section, what am I going to see? Right, the elevation. If I take a horizontal section, what will I see? Yes, the shape. So I'll see the triangular shape. All right, so I'm going to take about 2 more sections here. I'll scoot back so you can see me. All right, so here's my next section, making sure that it mirrors my previous section. I always, depending on their density, you could take bigger sections or smaller sections. When would you take smaller sections? Right, if someone's hair is really thick, you'd probably want to stay with a half a comb's width to a comb's width, meaning like this thick or even less thick. If their hair is really fine and the density is really low, then you could take bigger sections. So last section here. Oh, comb down. I'm gonna grab a new clean comb right here. All right, so my last section. Just following that guide that I had created, making sure I'm staying low in my elevation here. Follow the guide to the end. All right. So now we have a really pretty triangular shape. Beautiful. All right. So at this point, we're going to do what? We've executed creating the basic shape. Then we cross-checked. Now comes time for the blow dry. And then we can refine and style. So, I know she's a little lopsided, but we're going to go ahead and do our blow dry on her. So, who can tell me what our phase of a style and finish are? Oh yes. First we have Phase 1, select the proper texture and formation. So what texture would you say, Gabriella? Oh, this is Cassie. What would you say Cassie has? Straight, medium hair. Yep. So we have straight, medium. So this is her square right here. All right, next we are going to select the dominant length option. And if you guys open up your skill cards to your texture section, you're gonna see this chart that has the style and consultation chart. This is gonna be a really good guide to help you be able to identify different products to use and different blow dries to use on which hair types. So for phase 2, select the dominant length, short to medium or medium to long. We're gonna say that she is short to medium. And third is selecting that desired end result. Does she want volume or control? Today she wants some control. She just got a really cute A-line / triangular graduation, and she wants to have it nice and controlled and like a pretty slick hairstyle. Last of all, we're gonna select that proper tools and techniques to use. And so we're gonna pick which product we wanna use, which pre-dry and which finish. So I've already pre-selected these. We have our pre-dry directional. This is a diagram of the pre-dry directional. Sort of hard to see there, but see if you can see it. Nope, you can't see it. All right, that's all right. So you'll see it in your skill cards. So open up your skill cards to that pre-dry directional. We're gonna get her parted off for this. So first thing we're gonna do is separate the fringe. Then we are gonna do a horseshoe from where the hairline recedes back around the crown, where the crown drops down here. And then we're gonna come out and meet on the other side where that hairline recedes on the other side. So once we have that horseshoe, we're just going to go ahead, get that all combed up and clipped up. We did already put some product in there. We put that super skinny. We can also use a little bit of, I have our Neuro Style Prime. This is going to really help with just protecting the hair from all the heat we're going to be using on it. Gonna go ahead, we'll put a little bit in right now, all right? So I've put some in my hands. I make sure I get that nice and distributed evenly. I'm going to get that applied. Can I have my sweeper come in and sweep up some of this hair before I get this blow dry started? It's one thing that's, you know, smart. Get your hair swept up before you blow dry, otherwise you're just gonna blow it all over. So now that I have that first horseshoe, I'm going to create my next one. Where does it start at? Yep, it starts right above the ear and comes right across the back of the occipital. Thank you. Just a little bit more right here. There. All right. So, coming in right here, I'm going to comb that hair back, bring my finger right around the top of that comb so that it can control it nicely. Sometimes all this can just fit into one clip if their hair's long enough. Otherwise, I split it into two, and with it being a half graduation right now, we'll do two. So here, and we'll Zulu knot it up nice. Clean parting and sections are very important. It teaches you accuracy especially when you're starting to do your foil work and colors. Those clean sections are key to beautiful foil work. All right, so there we have it, have our section. This is a little shorter, so just making sure you get control of all those hairs. There we go. Zooming that up and put just a little clip in there. So now I can just leave the back down because that's where our blow dry is going to start. Right back here we see some long, some short. We ain't got time to cut the whole thing. All right, let's get started with our directional blow dry. So first of all, I'm just going to talk you through this, and then I'll turn the blow dry on real quick to just show you, and I'll keep it minimal so it's not too noisy. All right, so which hand do I hold my brush in? No, my right hand. I'm always going to use my dominant hand with the brush, my less dominant hand with the blow dryer. You can hold the handle or the nozzle, whichever one is ergonomically comfortable for your shoulders. You always want to be mindful of your body position and your shoulders, because we don't want to wear these things out before we put a few years into this industry. All right, I like to use my pinky a lot also. So I like to use my pinky to really control the hair. So I'm gonna line my brush up with the hairline, drag it down and push that hair forward. And I have my first section, as you can see up here, for my blow dry. So I'm gonna come in and follow my brush, and I'm just going to rock forward. I'm gonna do a little dance I'll show you here. I basically like move forward, move down. So rock in, out, move it down, in, out, and then I'm going to continue on moving diagonal back sections. Rock it in, rock it out, rock it in, rock it out, move down, rock it in, rock it out, in, out. Keep moving around that head. If I were to be holding the handle here, I would be going in, out, in, out, in, out, and then last of all, in, out, in, out, in, out. I love to use the curvature of the head to actually help create the shape. Move back a little bit. Once I get to this side, I'm going to do a little windshield wiper action where I bring, it's been hitting the left side of my brush. I'm just going to keep the handle down but swing it to the right and hit the right side of my brush. So my first position was coming in like this. My second position is just hitting that other side of the brush and coming in this other way. Sometimes if this cord is in the way, I can swing it around this way. So now, having my brush line up with the hairline here, I'm gonna pull. So now I'm pull, pull, pull. Take my next section, pull, pull, pull. Next section, pull, pull, pull. Next section, pull, pull, pull. So if it's long hair, you're just gonna be hitting the base to half the length. If it's short hair, like over here, you could actually do it all within one swoosh in the nape area there. I just start at the base and then pull it all the way through, because the hair is only 4 inches long there. So, but with the longer hair, you would just stay base to half, base to half, base to half. All right, I'm gonna turn it on just for a second so we can do a little demo here. All right, so here we go. Diagonal back, push, 1, 2, 3, detangle. Next section, push, 1, 2, 3, detangle. Next section, push. 1, 2, 3, detangle. In the short hair, I'll go all the way through. Diagonal back, push, 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 push. Next, switch. One, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Half, 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 detangle, half, 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 detangle. All right. So for the pre-dry, we've just done the directional. So then I would move on to the fringe. All right, so here we have the fringe. We're gonna go start on the right side, her left, my right. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Come back to this side on my left. Do it the other way. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Once we have the base done, it sort of depends on the length. If it's really long, you could wait to the finish to finish those, or you could go ahead if it's shorter and just dry them all at once. Now we're gonna move to the sides. I'm just gonna drop both the sides. All right, both sides are dropped. I'm gonna do diagonal forward here. I take my section, push it forward. 1, base to half, base to half, base to half. Move back, base to half, base to half, base to half. I'm gonna keep going around the whole head until I get to this side. Then once I get here, I'm gonna switch to that second position. Bring it over, direct it forward. So I take my section diagonal back, and now I'm pulling base to half, base to half, base to half, detangle. Next section, base to half, base to half, base to half, detangle. And I'm gonna keep doing that all the way around till I finish getting back. So that first time around, I wanna get the hair about 50% dry. The second way, on my way back, the second pass, I wanna get it that 90 to 100% dry. Then once I get to the top, I'm going to find where she wants her hair parted. One good way to do that is just comb that hair back, give it a little push, and you can typically find a natural part, but if she wants it a styled part, then you'd want to make sure you had already figured that out with her, or at this point you would figure it out with her. Now we're just gonna take it around the head, the top of the horseshoe. I'm going to take that diagonal forward section, push it, base to half, base to half, base to half. Next, base to half, base to half, base to half. I'm gonna work around the crown all the way around her head to the other side. And then once I get to that other side, that's when I'm gonna switch to what position? Second position, yep. Let's get untangled. All right, so second position, well, first, second position. Here we go. Pulling, base to half, base to half, base to half, base to half. Next section, base to half, and you're just gonna keep going around until you've completed that whole horseshoe on the top of the head. Now your pre-dry is done. All right, which pre-dry was that? Correct, directional, good job. All right, let's find her face. So now we're gonna go ahead and do a nice a nice finish that creates a nice smooth polished look. Directional gives you medium movement because it has you go both ways. It gives you some really good movement. You push the hair forward and then you push it back, so it's like giving you some good movement. The finish we're gonna do now is called leafing. I have a diagram here. So right here we have our leafing diagram. It shows that we're going to be starting on the right side here. And typically, if I had blow dried all this, this would be like pre-dried. Since I didn't, it's still a little damp. I'm just gonna show you how to how to leaf here. I am going to hold my brush down. These teeth flare out just a little bit. They were created like that so that they could pick the hair up. Sort of hard to see there, but you know what this brush looks like. So we bring it right under that section, roll it over, and leaf, 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 leaf. So again, I bring it in basically right by her eyebrow, brush it over, and leaf. One thing you want to see is that the hair is doing a U shape through the brush. And the good thing about that is it's giving it 2 times to dry instead of just 1. It's also creating tension on the brush. So as that U's through the hair, it's getting dried here and here. So twice. And then it's creating tension so that it is helping to polish the hair and smooth the cuticle. So let's do one with this on, all right? All right, slow and steady is better than just fast and going through it, whipping through it 10 times. If I were to do that slow and steady 3 times on a nice heat and full flow of airflow, it would get dry and smooth pretty quickly. So with the blow dryer, I would work up these sections, take my next section, work through leafing, leaf, leaf. Then I'd come to this top section, I would leaf, and then you're actually going to move into this section right here where the mastoid process is, and you would take horizontal sections. And again, sometimes it helps to use a little clip if you need to hold the top hair out of the way. But at this point, you would come in, grab that hair, and leaf it down. Leaf it down. Leaf. And that tension is creating a nice controlled look. And then here, as we move up, take our next section, leaf, and we continue leafing until we had a nice pretty finish. And we would basically work our way around horizontal sections up the head until we got to this side. So once we're on this side, we're actually standing in front of our guest, leafing over, working up this side of the head in horizontal sections until we've finished our beautiful, completed triangular graduation that has a beautiful finish. It has some nice movement. And this one is a little modified to be a little bit more dramatic than the other ones that are a little bit disconnected behind the ear and come up shorter on the face. But it's just sort of a fun, a little bit more dramatic option. All right, so now that we've gone through, we've done our consultation, we've properly shampooed our guest, we've worked through our service and did our haircut, we've done a really great style and blow dry on our guest. Then for our haircut, we would do a little bit refinement right now, and then we would just finish it all off with a style of today, since we're going through for control, we would just do a nice polished smooth iron if we needed to touch up any of those ends that were frizzed or anything. Last of all, we will finish up with just a little bit of reflection right now, okay? So I want you to take 2 minutes and I want you to think of everything we've learned today. I know that we've learned a lot. But I want you to think of at least 5 of your favorite things, okay? All right, go. Okay, perfect. So what you see up here is a 5-3-1. I want you to take a piece of paper and I want you to fold it into thirds, all right? And you're gonna write a 5, 3, and 1 at the top. All right, now write your 5 favorite things. And then once those are done, you're gonna take 3 of those that were your 3 most favorite, put them in the center column. And then you're going to pick the one and only favorite thing you did today and put it on that right column. Triangular graduation was funnest for me. All right, perfect. So now that you've written that down, I want you to go ahead and find someone in the room that you haven't talked to at all or the least amount, and I want you to share your number 1 favorite thing that you learned with them. Perfect. So last of all, we just have a little bit of a review up here on our question board. Who can tell me what the 3 geometries are? The 3 geometric shapes. Yes, round, square, triangular. Good job. What were the 3 principles of dimension? Height, width, depth. Perfect. And what is the 4-step program? And whose job is it? Right, it's your learning leader's responsibility. First mini powwow, service consultation, service check, service completion. Good job. All right, so one of the commitments I want you guys to really think about and make are the importance of having your lookbook. And so as you're going through school, I really want you to commit to having a solid lookbook and adding some good product knowledge in there so that your guests can be more familiar with our product lines and what, might benefit their hair the most. And last of all, for your home play, I do want you guys to really work on your honors. And so I'm going to have you diagram the triangular graduation for your honors. So what does that mean? It means that it has to be on point, right? So make sure you use the proper colors, proper section angles, and really nice lines. If you are doing it on the cutting app, I'm a pro at that, so I'll be happy to guide you through that. If you are just doing it on paper, which is also awesome, just make sure you're using the right colors and pens that don't smudge, all right? I do expect to see that tomorrow, so if you guys could have that back to me tomorrow, I will check it off on your honors. And I want to thank you for spending the last hour and 20 minutes with me. It's been really fun for me, and I hope that through today's class you guys feel like you know how the entire service should go and how to create the best experience for your guest and for you so that you can actually enjoy your career and your passion. All right? Aloha.